Hi everyone, long time no see. Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another what I eat in a day. I am loving porridge for breakfast at the moment, and this is my go-to creamy porridge with my cherry and almond chia jam. This is how I always make my porridge. It's pretty foolproof and is dreamy and creamy every single time. I put 1.5 cups of water on to boil on a medium heat, and then I took half a cup of porridge oats, but I sprinkled in a quarter of that, half a cup at a time. Just gave it a stir in between to prevent the oats clumping together, and then once all of the oats were in, I sprinkled in a little sea salt and placed the lid on and just left it to cook on a low heat for around 20 minutes. After 20 minutes the oats are nicely cooked. I then poured in half a cup of oat milk and just kept stirring that until that's fully absorbed into the oats and has warmed through. You might want to add in some sweetener. I add in half a scoop of vanilla protein powder, and then the rest of my toppings are sweet enough, so just sweeten it to taste. My favourite topping at the moment is my cherry and almond chia jam. It tastes just like cherry bakewell, and of course chia seeds are a really good source of omegas. Also really into this roasted almond nut butter by Nobo, which is a small Irish brand. Look at that smooth goodness. I also usually just slice up a banana and add that on as well for a little more sweetness, and then just top it with some crushed almonds, some pumpkin seeds and hemp seeds. It's just a really hearty porridge that I look forward to waking up to in the mornings. The oats keep me going all morning, and it's great just before the gym. There's the protein powder in there as well, and with all of the toppings it's just a big bowl of goodness. Lunch, as always, is usually something on toast. Scrambled tofu is a favourite, but I've been making a veggie scramble a lot. I just finally chopped up half a white onion that I had left over, as well as some baby butter mushrooms. Then I just added both the onion and the mushrooms to a pan with a little olive oil and fried them off until the onion had softened and the mushrooms had this nice golden colour to them. I also roughly sliced a red pepper in half and then just finely chopped that up and added it into the pan as well and fried it off for a few minutes. I then added in a block of silken tofu, which I just drained. I love using silken tofu for scramble, but you can also crumble up firm tofu for it too. I just break it down a little bit before then adding in a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of garlic powder and a teaspoon of turmeric. Then I seasoned with loads of black pepper and just a little sea salt as I add in some namak at the end. Gave that all a really good turn through until the tofu has taken on all of the spices and the colour from the turmeric. And then I also just add in a splash of oat milk as well as a small handful of baby spinach. And I just keep turning it over until the spinach has wilted down. Lastly, I just added in a small pinch of namak, which gives it a salty, eggy flavour. My favourite bread at the moment is this high protein bread. It's made with oats, nuts, seeds, all sorts, and it's so tasty. So I toasted up a couple of slices of that and then spread on some vegan butter. I then put half of the scrambled veggie tofu on top of the toast. Sometimes I'll mash avocado on the toast as well, but this makes enough for 2 lunches for me, so I'll put the other half in an airtight container and just reheat it up for lunch the next day. I had also just pan-cooked some tomatoes on the vine quickly, so I added those on too, as well as some salad on the side, and I topped the scramble with some dried chili flakes, fresh chives and some pumpkin seeds. It's just a favourite kind of lunch for me, perfect for when I get home from the gym. It's high in protein with the bread and the tofu. It's packed full of veggies with the onion, the pepper and the spinach. There's the mushrooms in there as well, and with those added in, it bulks it up a little more, meaning there's enough for another lunch, as I mentioned. I'm also really into Tabasco sauce on pretty much everything I eat at the moment. My favourite is the green pepper sauce made with jalapenos. It's got a nice kick to it, but it's also a little bit tangy and it just adds some heat to anything on toast, pasta dishes, soups, burritos. So yeah, for me this is another all-round hearty, healthy lunch. And that kind of lunch keeps me pretty full, but I will have a snack at at some point in the afternoon. On this day I made a cup of tea, my favourite Bird and Blend tea. It's their rhubarb and custard blend. It literally tastes like rhubarb and custard sweets. I get their loose leaf tea, so I just brewed it in one of their tea strainers. And I also add in some oat milk as well. It makes it really creamy. And with that, I had one of the Outpro high protein passion fruit yogurts. All of the flavors are so good, but I love anything passion fruit. It's a really thick, creamy Greek style yogurt with a fruit compote at the bottom, and it's just a sweet and filling enough snack to get me through the rest of the afternoon. Then for dinner, I made a soy mince ragu with pasta. I first chopped up a white onion, then took 3 cloves of garlic, crushed and minced those up finely too. I added the onion to a pan on a medium heat with some olive oil, set the garlic aside, and I next finely minced up a stick of celery, added that to the pan with the onion. I then peeled a carrot and again just really finely minced it up and added that into the pan to create a nice base for my sauce. I fried the veggies off in the pan for around 5 minutes until they'd softened down, and then I added in the garlic and just cooked that down too. Next I added in a teaspoon of dried mixed herbs and a teaspoon of paprika, then seasoned it really well with some sea salt flakes and cracked black pepper, and I turned all of the seasonings through the pan. Next I poured in 2 tablespoons of vegan Worcester sauce and 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, then added in a teaspoon of red wine vinegar. I added in 2 tablespoons of tomato puree, stirred it through the pan and fried it off. Next I took 6 sun-dried tomatoes in herb oil and chopped those up as finely as I could. I added those into the pan and just mixed them in. I then added in a cup of dry soy mince and just got that coated well in all of the sauce. Then I added in a single bay leaf, a can of chopped tomatoes, and I poured in 400 millilitres of vegetable stock. I gave it all a really good stir together and then brought the sauce up to a gentle simmer and just left it gently bubbling for around 30 minutes until the sauce had reduced and thickened. Again, this sauce made enough for 4 portions, so I just halved it, put half in an airtight container, and once cool I placed it in the fridge and I then used that for another meal. It works great in lasagna, for example. I put my pasta on to cook, and once that was done I took 1/3 of a cup of the starchy pasta water and added it into the soy mince ragu in the pan, then drained off the pasta and added that in too. I gave it a really good mix through to get the pasta well coated in the ragu. I then added in a sprinkle of vegan Parmesan cheese and just mixed that into the sauce. Then I served it up, and any ragu left in the bottom of the pan I just divided over the top of the pasta. I put some more vegan Parmesan on and some fresh chopped basil as well. We had that with a big side salad, and the ragu itself is just so delicious. The sun-dried tomatoes add some chewy meatiness in there. The sauce has so many deep umami flavours, and the soy mince adds texture, and just 100 grams of this contains around 50 grams of protein, which is amazing. It's super versatile as well. I use it in so many meals as an alternative to mincemeat. And one thing I always do is add it straight to the sauce to soak it up. The packet instructions usually say to soak it in water first, but I think this works even better as it takes on all of the flavours. And that is everything I ate this day, with the addition of another cup of tea before bed. I hope you enjoyed this video. The recipes will be written below as always. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!